What's up, guys? The tank is all built, and I just want to really apologize to you guys for the recording of the tank build itself. I tried doing it as a live stream, that way I could have people watch as I was building the tank, and also for those of you that didn't get to see the live stream, it would be automatically uploaded to YouTube. But after going through the live stream from last night while building the tank, it didn't record very well at all. If you've already seen some of it, you would know exactly what I'm talking about. It switched back and forth between the 3 or 4 people that I had on live stream with me, and really didn't show a lot of the tank build, and I really am sorry about that. I'm very upset about it. So what I want to do now, instead of me taking the tank all apart and rebuilding it again for the camera, I'm going to walk you through exactly what steps I took for this tank build, and hopefully you can get a really good idea of how it was done. And again, I'm really sorry, guys. I really wanted this to be a fun little tutorial type video, and you know, sometimes things just don't work out. So with that out of the way, the tank is all silicone together. So the first steps that I took, and I do have a couple little videos that I'll splice in here. I acetoned. I used a quart of acetone pretty much on this whole tank build. The acetone I used to clean the glass. I cleaned all the glass entirely, and then I really took extra special care of the gluing surfaces to clean them very well with the acetone. I used a microfiber cloth to do that. Let's see. After the acetoning, I taped up each piece. Over there on the table, I taped it all up. Taped my base, and then each piece I taped up. Did that all pre-hand, or yeah, I guess before I did anything else. And then what I did is I laid each piece out. I put a side piece over there, I put a long piece over here, a long piece against the couch, and then a short piece over here for one of the sides. That way, when I started putting the tank together, the pieces were pretty much where I needed them to be. So after taping, I vacuumed. You can see the vacuum there. I vacuumed all the edges against this jig here. Well, there's silicone here now, but I vacuumed all the edges around the tank, just for any wood pieces, wood chunks from putting the jig up, or anything that may have settled along the gluing edge. So I vacuumed the entire bottom piece, and while there was tape on all the edges and the base and everything, I acetoned it again. This time when I acetoned, I was wearing gloves. So pretty much after taping, I was wearing gloves the entire time. I laid my bead of silicone on the base all the way down, and then I laid a bead across the bottom of the base over there. And then I had my wife, well, first of all, so I laid the bead all the way across the base there and all the way around that side base over there. And then on this front piece here, what I did is I laid my bead of silicone where the glass was going to join. You can see here I got sloppy, and I got an explanation for that. But I laid a bead of silicone on the front pane there. So that way, when I set this long piece in, when I put the side in, all I would have to do is just tilt this front piece up, and then it would bond the 2 panes of glass together, and I wouldn't have to worry about, you know, trying to silicone at a vertical angle. So silicone was already there. Excuse me. So what I did is I set this piece of glass on top of the silicone, and I gave it a quick little press down, and what I did is I used my shoe, believe it or not, and I just kind of kicked the piece of glass all the way down so it was as flush as I could get it against this jig piece here. And then I had my wife hold this piece while I put that second piece in, and then I used one of these corner clamps here. Like so. and that's what held this front long piece up and that side piece. Then after I did that, let me go get this other corner clamp here. I'm trying to walk you through exactly what I did, just because I feel horrible. So after that piece was all set in, I ran my bead of silicone along this part of the base, and then I ran it across this side part of the base. So when I first started, what I did is I ran this part of the base silicone, that part of the base silicone, and then I ran the edge and this edge, and that was it for the first parts of the setting. I did that because as soon as you put the silicone down, say I did the whole base first, and then say I had to mess with these panes longer than, you know, expected. This silicone over here, that's not getting any use yet, not setting any glass on it or whatever, would start to skin over. So that's not what I wanted to do. So I did the silicone in sections. So I got those two pieces in, and then I laid silicone along this end, or that back pane, and this side pane on the base. And then I did the same thing. I siliconed up the side and up the side. So after those two pieces were put in and I clamped them in place just like that, I went ahead and put in this side piece, butted it up against the front pane here, and then put my second corner jig there and tightened it down. Made sure everything was nice and even. Excuse me. So that left me with my front pane and two side pieces on. After that, the back piece was the easiest piece to put in. I used my suction cup there. That way I had a little bit more leverage on holding the glass up. And I literally just slid it into place, dropped it on the silicone, and I got my 36-inch bar clamps and pretty much just squeezed the two long front and back panes together on the side panes, just like that. You can see my hand. So I just squeezed it together on both sides. Once I did that, I used this little caulking tool here, and that cleaned up my edges. You use it just like this. You get it into your edge. Can't really see, but then you just wipe it up. And it took a good deal of the silicone off, and this helped a lot. If I was doing it with my finger, I would have had globs of silicone all over this tank. So I used this, and this got all the silicone up, and then I was just wiping silicone on paper towels. So I did that all the way around the tank, and then I pulled my tape off, and I had some really clean edges. But the reason why things are kind of sloppy on the front pane and side panes over on the front side of the tank is because on this side, being the first piece we put on, my wife, you know, I can't blame her at all, but she's just never put a tank together, and when I was trying to put this side pane on, she wasn't really holding this very tight, so these two pieces were moving around a lot, and pretty much what happened is all the silicone squeezed out. So I got a better look at it. I looked at this seam here with a flashlight, and I just wasn't happy with it. So, mind you, I took all the tape off, so what I did is I put these corner clamps over here on the back pane. Okay. So I switched the clamps to the back pane, just like this. Okay. And then what I did is I undid my clamps, my 36-inch bar clamps, and I pulled this front pane back off. And I just leaned it down, and then I ran a bead of silicone back down the side, back down this side, and along the bottom again. And then I pushed the pane back up, and then I bar clamped it again. And the seam looks good. Now, something very important for working with 3/8 and larger glass, especially building a tank. You need to have at least a 1/16 of an inch gap between the panes of glass. If you don't have any spacers or anything between the glass, pretty much all the silicone is just going to squeeze out, and then you're going to be left with a very, very thin layer of silicone between the panes of glass, which you don't really want. So what I did was used a black zip tie. These are exactly a 1/16 of an inch. And it's probably not going to focus on the zip tie. But they're exactly a 1/16 of an inch. And what I did is, I don't know if it'll show up there. Maybe you can see it. But you can see there how wide that is against the glass. It's pretty wide. So what I did, whoops, there we go. So what I did is I cut the zip tie in half lengthwise, and that left me with a really nice shim. I mean, it was a lot thinner than that, but it left me with a really nice 1/16 of an inch shim between all the panes of glass. So all these pieces sitting on the base are 1/16 of an inch raised off the base, and I got a 1/16 of an inch of silicone basically, and I did that for all the side pieces as well. So that's really important. So that's basically how the tank was constructed. It took me 10 minutes, maybe a little less than 10 minutes to get it all put together. The tank's been sitting now for the entire day since last night. It's probably been a total of 24 hours now. And the tank is already really strong. I was walking in there, I was taking some pictures of me sitting in the tank, and I accidentally kicked one of the side panels, and it felt solid. So, yeah, so, and if you're wondering what silicone I was using, I am using the RTV 100 series. There you go, and this is RTV. The black silicone is RTV 103. And then I have RTV 108, and that's the clear silicone, and that's what I'm going to use for the Euro brace. I don't have the Euro braces cut yet. So guys, I hope I didn't miss anything, but that is how I constructed the tank. I'm going to go ahead, I'm just going to let the silicone cure. I'm not going to even worry about cleaning up the edges because I'm really not that worried about it at this point. I just want this tank to set up really nice. I could probably take the clamps off now, but I'm going to leave them on because, like I said, I'm in no rush, and the stronger this is, the better. So somebody made a joke when I posted this on my Facebook saying that this is my coffin, and I said, well, if it leaks, this is probably what my wife will bury me in. So anyways, guys, if I missed anything, please don't hesitate to ask me any questions. I tried to mentally go through how I constructed the tank with you guys, and again, I'm really sorry about the way the live stream turned out, but if you want to check it out, it's about an hour and a half long, and I mean, there's still some clips here and there where it goes full screen on my end and you can see me putting the tank together, but that's how I put the tank together, guys. And again, if you have any other questions, please let me know and I will gladly answer them. Thanks, guys. Peace.